I, oh, it is recording. Somebody is recording.
Yeah, Eamon's recording it
Oh, okay.
for his autopilot.
I think it's
Okay.
my autopilot, but I don't think I'm saving the video.
Okay.
I don't
Just
think
transcript. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got it. We got it recording now. So
I could also boot the autopilot if it's if anything. Yeah.
no, it's fine. So and sorry for accusing you of letting your bot attend while you go surf the
No
coast.
worries. I wish the bot could attend while I go shower and do other
Well,
things.
I don't know how to take that, Eamon.
No, I mean in just in life. I'm ready to have the AIs fill in for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
ready to have them do all my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it.
So we are recording now, and I think I have a couple recordings that are just kind of stacked up waiting to post. So I'll relate them to Nick Martirano, who will post them on the water board site, on the Water Quality Monitoring Council site.
Right on.
Maybe before we go into trashy updates, we can just kind of take the temperature of how this meeting is working for people. I mean, we don't really have a critical mass of people to weigh in on things, but we switched it from wasn't it every month basically? And then now it's every quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, we could switch back to every month. I think that it seems like participation has kind of declined since we went to quarter. Um
Well, I don't know if I have the bandwidth for every month anymore.
yeah,
To be
no, that's
honest,
why
and
I
I don't think you
switched.
do.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think you do either. So if we did switch back to every month, then maybe we could get a new
Yeah.
co-chair. Or
Yeah, but I remember when we were proposing that earlier, it was like nobody really wanted to had the bandwidth to do that either. So
yeah, but maybe we could connect. Maybe you and I, Win, can do a better job of communicating out what we're covering, because I think we're just relying on this this meeting invite to kind of bring people to around the campfire. But
right.
yeah, but
We could send
anyway,
like a
I
debrief.
put that on me. But hey, Dr. Novotny, good to see you.
Hi, guys.
Um, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. We could send a debrief after this and see if that helps to get people a little bit more engaged and maybe sending out the video too. I know in the past people have been watching the videos when they couldn't attend. Um,
Great. Yeah, we'll get
we should
back to
talk
that.
about that. Yeah. Okay. So. And do people have other ideas about, or anybody else want to provide feedback about like how this meeting's going? Is it regular enough? Is it too much? Other ideas about kind of engagement or
I'm
that?
personally really enjoying it. I think maybe one of the reasons is that it's lower attendance today is also like everyone's still getting back in the groove of things,
Yeah.
after New Year's and all that stuff. But to the extent that you wanted to do like a rotating, or need more support in hosting the meetings, I'd be happy to do that as well.
That's
Awesome.
really
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
I enjoyed the meetings to be able to share things that have been going on in my sphere, which is, off to the side in the Venn diagram, a different kind of circle of stuff oftentimes. So it's good to be able to share that with you all and see if there's any engagement or feedback as a result of that. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good to know.
I definitely enjoy it too. I'm trying to think if we could somehow like all share in helping to get the word out more to like bring in new participants. I've shared it over the past few months with a couple of people, but maybe like a more concerted blast, I don't know, to bring in some new blood would be cool.
We could
And
send through
then
the Lyris again.
through what? Lyris?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So one thing I noticed is that being a little conservative, I'm maintaining the reins on the meeting invitation. So if you all wanted to invite somebody else, you would have to like let me know or something. But I could make it so that everyone can modify the event. With that, it does open up the possibility that someone could accidentally delete the Zoom information or other,
Oh, really?
the link to the agenda or whatever. And so I worry with so many people who could do that, like it almost inevitably would happen. It can be fixed, it can be restored. So I think maybe at this point, it might be worth taking the risk of just going ahead and allowing everyone to invite whomever they want and add them to the agenda, to the invite. What do you guys think?
I like that idea. Yeah.
I was able to just forward the email, like the reminder email that goes out sometimes, or like when you all send out a like update, like when you transition to every 3 months, there was an email that went out and I just forwarded that on, and that had all the info for joining.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't go into the calendar, right? But
yeah, with that kind of thing, I think it does work to give them info, but I don't think they are they're not guests, so they might not get changes or any
calendar
or any calendar invites in the future. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I'll go ahead and make it so that hey Gary, hey Yinling, we are just talking about how to make this meeting as engaging as possible, and as Eamon said, we're kind of at the beginning of the year, so lower attendance is probably to be expected. But what Julian suggested is that we make a concerted effort to kind of invite others who may be interested in such a thing. I think that this is a real good sharing opportunity, and Dr. Novotny said that he appreciated being able to share information out and hear what we're doing. So maybe I'm going to take the risk, which is to allow all guests, and there's like 60 guests or whatever, to modify this event, meaning they can add guests to it. Technically they can remove guests from it. Hopefully people won't do that and people will just be professional about it. But if people make those changes, we'll see them happen and we can intervene and restore things. So I think it's a risk, but it's a risk we're taking at this point. So people can invite, well, okay, I take it back. People right now can invite others. That's allowed. They can't modify the event. Maybe that's good enough. Maybe inviting others is okay. So they already have that permission. And they can see the guest list. So maybe we're okay as it is.
Yeah, maybe we're good.
Okay, we're okay. I'm not going to take that next step to allow people to modify the event. No good will come of that, I think. But maybe we can be more responsive to agenda ideas or solicit agenda ideas.
Yeah.
You know, we do mention that at the end of the meeting, like, hey, if you have any ideas for the next meeting, please go ahead and send them our way. But maybe we can send follow-up emails and prompt people for such ideas. Things that I think I've really appreciated, especially would be the types of things that we're going to be in for today when Julian is providing a formal update on his data portal. It's not his data portal, but a data portal project that he manages. So I think that we've had those occasions when we invite a speaker in to provide a slideshow presentation, and that sort of formal thing can be even more helpful than a verbal update. So if you have ideas, if you have, I can point to a whole range of things that we've heard about over the years. So if there are things we're missing, things that are happening in our state that you would like to highlight, these can be things happening at the agency level, NGO level, what have you. It would be good to hear about them. So we're open to those suggestions and would welcome those types of presentation opportunities. And you might have some things that are kind of bubbling up in your mind, things that you would like to present about, and we would want to start with you. Yeah. So don't be shy. So maybe that's enough on that, Win, and we can invite people to share their trashy updates.
Sweet.
What's going on in your world?
I can start if nobody else wants to. I wrote down a couple of things actually. We got a couple of cool projects going on. One of them is with these bottles. So we have these bottles that have GPS transceivers in them, or receivers. I can never get it straight. They actually send GPS signals to a satellite, and then I can see where they are real time. And we're going to deploy these in the LA River and watch them float down the river and see where they get hung up, see how long it takes them to get down the river. We're also doing it in San Diego Creek, so we'll have kind of 2 different watersheds in 2 different locations. We have 40 of these, so we'll have like 20 bottles in each river. I think it'll be a really unique data set and teach us a lot about how trash gets, from one place in a river down out to the ocean. And I think it has a lot of implications for some of the research that our group is doing. And then the second project that we're working on right now with Hannah Happich is Trash Taxonomy 2.0. So Trash Taxonomy 1.0. A lot of y'all were co-authors on that manuscript. Now we're working on 2.0. We're trying to implement word embeddings. That's one of the big things is using like semantic search instead of just one-to-one searches for trying to join different data sets. And we're developing a portal where you can just like upload a spreadsheet and it holds your hand through the whole process of joining your spreadsheet to another spreadsheet or to like our own kind of internal schema. So that's the new on the trash taxonomy. I think we're getting pretty close actually to being able to submit that manuscript. So I'll keep you all updated as that progresses.
That is really cool, Win. May I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah, please.
That Trash Taxonomy 2.0, does it come with different like code resources, or is it just at this point a manuscript?
There's gonna be code too. Yeah, there's a R package that we've developed for doing that semantic search, and then there's a Shiny app code too.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. I can imagine that everyone's gears are turning about the semantic search and matching.
Thanks.
I love the evolution of the taxonomy idea, and it's great that you were so inclusive in allowing us to be part of the 1.0. So we have a stake in this.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'll definitely keep you all updated as we. Right now, it's still so buggy in its beta phase. I'm like scared to even like send you all the URL link for it, but it does exist.
Yeah, that's okay. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
If I could just piggyback on Wynn's report about those bottles. So the Moore Institute in Southern California is leading that effort in the LA River and San Diego. We at SFEI are doing the very same in the Bay Area. So in Walnut Creek watershed and one other location, we'll be releasing bottles, the very same bottles. So we're working on the same project, in other words, and following them through a different set of circumstances. So knowing that the engineering for creeks and rivers in LA are very different from the way they are in Northern California, that's why we need this kind of geographic variety. We picked Walnut Creek specifically because it's the largest undammed watershed in the Bay Area. So we can see the kind of maximum allowable journey of these bottles as they go down. And you might be wondering, so these have GPS units, but what happens when things go wrong? So we are accounting for that insofar as while we are deploying these bottles, just for round numbers, let's say there's 10 in a given location. So we deploy the bottles. We will be cleaning up 10 bottles worth of trash just to cover base so that we are net not non-polluting in a sense if there are any technical challenges to recovering these bottles, but we have every intention of recovering the bottles based on GPS information. So I don't want word getting out that we're dumping trash in these rivers. We are releasing scientific equipment with the intention of recovering them. But in the case if they become unrecoverable, we will have the true measure of having a net cleanup. So that's why we're performing that cleanup. So that's I'll leave my update at that, and maybe call on Dr. Novotny to provide an update on what you've been up to in the trash world.
Yes. Thanks. Can you hear me okay? Yep.
Yes.
Well, I just want to remind you that we have a new Center for Tobacco and the Environment at San Diego State University that's funded by the cigarette tax-funded tobacco-related disease research program that's administered through the UC system. And we have pilot funding available for projects, and I'm going to be putting the link to that in the chat here just now, so that you can have an idea that if things are matching your interests, that we've got several pilot funding grants, and this RFA has just been released so that it's got time to be responded to. So I'd like you to do that. Let me just quickly put the link in, and it's on tobacco product waste, of course, or other kinds of tobacco related waste issues like third-hand smoke, which probably you guys aren't interested in, but you can take a look at this link. And if it doesn't work, I hope it works. Just a second here. Oh gosh, it's a huge link. Oh well, it's one of those things. I can also put a copy of the email distribution, so if you can just hold on a moment, I'll do that as well.
I'm getting that the link is temporarily unavailable.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Oh, it's because it's a mail attachment link. It's not the real.
Yeah, it was. All right. Let me see if I can do something better with that. Let's see here.
What I would suggest, Dr. Novotny, if you click the link from your mail and go to the URL on the browser, you should be able to copy that and paste it in.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. All right, I'm going to do that real quick. That's a good trick. Thank you.
Sure thing.
And just a couple other things while I'm trying to do this multiple tasking. And here's that link. Try that one. Yeah, the other thing I just wanted, well, two things. One, our project on the economic costs of tobacco product waste is coming to a close at the end of January. There's going to be a webinar that we're going to be presenting information on this. I can also try to get that up, but right now we had some problems with that link, but I'll get it later today. On next, the 18th, which is a week from tomorrow, and that'll be in the afternoon at 2:30. We're basically going to just go through how one would cost out the cleanup costs or prevention costs as well for tobacco product waste at a city level. Hang on a second. And that'll be coming up next week. And then as that project gets completed, we'll be having some publications too, which are in the works. But basically, it does end up with a rather complicated way of going about trying to calculate those costs. That's not for everybody. In other words, it's not like a push button kind of lock and lock and load sort of thing. It needs a bit more technical work to be able to figure out the model. The other thing that I just want to mention is the plastics treaty, which is under negotiation now by probably 180 countries and a bunch of NGOs as well as industry. You can imagine what that's like. And the third INC was held in Kenya in December. The next one will be held, actually November. The next one will be held in Ottawa, Canada in April. There's a zero, well, it's actually a more than zero version draft of the treaty that's being circulated right now. I don't know if anybody else has been involved in this, but this is, under the United Nations Environment Program, and it's a potential for international cooperation on trying to reduce plastic trash throughout the world. There's a lot of detail in this. I can provide more of that without going into great detail right now. And I got a plumber that's at my door, so I'm going to have to leave and just go get him started on the project quickly.
Thanks, Tom. So in the interest of time, maybe Julian, do you want to go next? Just to make sure we have some space, because I know you wanted to take up a little bit of extra time today.
I can. I think it'd be good to get quick updates, at least from everyone, but should I just do a quick update and then we circle back, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's just do a quick update. I want to make sure that we can hear from some of the others as well. And we'll try and keep our quick updates confined to like 3 or 4 minutes at each at most.
Well, then I'll just share really quickly that I had the pleasure of having a real life coffee with a real life Tony Hale yesterday. Actually, we didn't even get to the coffee, did we?
We didn't get to the coffee, but it was a rain check that I'll be cashing in soon.
Yeah,
or you'll be cashing in. I'm not sure who cashes it, but
yeah, that's yours to cash for sure. But yeah, we took a little walk down behind the Costco, and Tony showed me a beach of discarded ceramic plates. That was pretty cool. A kind of trashy beach, but maybe a kind of benign trashy beach. So we'll circle back on the other stuff that I want to share. Thanks. I'll popcorn over to Hannah.
Hi. So I have 2 main projects that I've been working on. The first one is we're currently getting our lab accredited, or in the process of that. And so I've been working in Lab Guru to document our samples and make protocols. And then the second thing, I've been working on a manuscript for the validator app that we've created. And so I'm currently working on creating a package down for the One for All package in the validator app. So kind of working back and forth between those 2 things.
That's really great. And I should know this, Hannah, but who's the authority that's accrediting the institute?
Is it ELAP one? I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, ELAP.
Okay, great, cool. Let's hear from Gary.
Sure, thanks, Tony. No personal trash activities on my end. I've been sort of occupied with other things recently, but I will share maybe some good news from Second Nature's side. I was just looking through all of the users that we have. We build stormwater tools to help cities with water quality compliance, et cetera. And there's a trash module, right? You go out and map the trash condition of your roads, quantify trash captured by any sorts of devices that are installed. And as we know, here in California, we have explicit requirements for trash capture and improvement of those conditions. But other states, that's not the case. But as I look down the list here, I see that we have new customers subscribed to our trash module in North Carolina, Massachusetts, Indiana, Florida, and Maryland. And so I haven't been personally involved in those conversations, but what that tells me is that, right, there's other cities and states across the country that there's other drivers, right, other than necessarily these explicit regulatory requirements that are pushing them to start to deal with trash delivery to their waterways. And that's pretty positive news from my end. So I'm glad to see it, and I hope to see the list grow.
Yeah, that is very fascinating. And maybe at our next meeting, Gary, you might have some more information to present about what those drivers are, because I would really want to dive in to know, is it like local pressures from community groups? Is it, a state level non-regulatory, but still applying pressure at that from on high? I'm sure it varies location to location, but it would be really cool to hear about these new customers and the adoption of your tools and what are the drivers for that, because I think that would be very informative.
Yeah, I'm curious too, and so I'd be happy to report back. I'll have some conversations with our folks that interact directly with those customers to try to understand what those drivers are. My initial sense is that, yeah, public pressure and sort of a lot of the media campaigns for getting people aware of the impacts of trash, particularly in the ocean. But yeah, I'll report back with more info.
Yeah, I would also want to know of any customers that are not in coastal areas, like, or how careful are Cleveland, and Columbus, Ohio, to their pollution responsibilities. It would be really an interesting thing to know. So thank you, Gary, for that. Damon, would you like to provide an update about rubbish?
Sure. We have two main projects that we're working on and excited about. One of which is integrating AI into the Rubbish app. I think I already sent Win an early version of that. Just recently in December, we partnered up with KAB and a Cal Recycle program and what's it called? And Cascadia to do surveys around California, and we're field testing this. And what we found is with our newest stuff, we had a 77% accuracy on a lot of the things. So the way it works is that a group can define any number of things that they're interested in, such as bottle caps or vehicle parts, and then the AI will attempt to identify what's in the photo and then match it against what's in your current list. So we've come a long way with that, and we hope to release that later this month, a full version. Maybe I could share my screen, or I could share some of the impressive finds.
Sure, if it's quick. We want to leave
Yeah,
time for Julian, but thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and let me know if I'm running over time, but it should be quick. So here we go. Like it was able to recognize textiles really well. Here's other plastic, more textiles, and then we had metal cans, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. It had a high success rate at differentiating those. Plastic food packaging. Here's vehicle debris, more textiles, expanded polystyrene. So it depends on, and here's a really impressive one. This is glass buried beneath a bunch of twigs.
Wow.
So we're still refining it. Here's textiles that looks like it's like camouflaged in. Still got it. And here's here's more plastic bottles, more expanded polystyrene plastic. It's we're very optimistic about it. It's working pretty well. We just need to productize it, put in like guardrails, and make sure that we don't get a $10,000 OpenAI bill. But we're pretty optimistic about it. And the other thing that we're going to release is a recycling helper. So something that takes local recycling ordinances. It could be for a state or a city or a business. And you could take a photo and it'll categorize it. So this is a quick demo of that. So I'll just show you. So that's pretty obvious. It'll tell you to do the can in recycling, to put the can in recycling. Compost. This is general trash because it's low grade plastic. And it even gets special use cases like batteries and tells you where to take them. I think one thing that's exciting about this is we try and gamify it a little bit for businesses to be able to use or schools to be able to use. Sort of like those water fountains that tell you how many bottles of plastic bottles you saved by bringing in your own. And the last note about that is that you could bring your own, let's say you have your own PDF for your own municipality or your own construction site or whatever of how to deal with trash. We're going to handle being able to import your own custom regulations and the app being able to handle that. So as an example, we're using like, what will recycling look like on Mars? And, maybe you take like plastic cans and then you have to put in the green chute, in sphere A. But even if it's something that contrived or that different than what we're used to, it'll still be able to handle that kind of complexity or newness. And that's it.
Thank you so much. I mean, thank you. Really fantastic to hear about your progress. May we hear from Dahlia?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dahlia Foster. This is my first time attending, and I wanted to thank Emin Israfil from Rubbish, as we had a one-on-one in the past, and he actually forwarded the meeting invite so that I may participate, and I appreciate that. I'm one of the program managers for Clean California, if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
One of the big governor's pet projects of $1.1 billion to address litter eradication and also implement some beautification projects throughout the state of California through Caltrans. So we're coming to wrapping up Clean California this June, that's planning on sunsetting. But what we found in-house is a different outlook towards litter. So with that in mind, we were very much interested, because of our resources and the type of staffing required and needed to implement what you see out there on our facilities is a cleaner facility, and how we handle the waste. So I'm really excited about participating in this, even after Clean California sunsetting, to continue this outlook as to what the department, Caltrans, can do in regards to litter. And it's funny that Emin mentions KAB. We do actually have a contract with Sagent and KAB to do a survey of our facilities and the type of trash that is being, how should I say, out there, on our facilities, and how we're going to address it. So thank you for inviting us. And also, a partner of mine that is really exceptional in data collection is Yinling Bang. So I'm going to have him introduce himself as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dahlia. And Yinling, let's hear from you.
Hi, thank you, Dahlia. As Dahlia has mentioned, my name is Yinling Zhang. I am also with Caltrans, and I also work for Clean California, and I primarily focus on what Dahlia has mentioned, the data collection, in particular with GIS, using GIS solutions. And I also have experience in data science, and I do web development as well, to be able to help facilitate any sort of business process. So all of this is pretty exciting to me.
Well, it's wonderful to have you both. Thank you for Emin, for extending the invitation. This is a very good sign that we are being proactive, and we are doing the thing that we mentioned at the start of the meeting, which is inviting others who may be interested in such material. So thank you for doing that, Emin, and thank you for the good work you're all doing. What I would like to do now, I believe we've covered everyone's trashy updates. Let's shift over to Julian, and Julian, you can have the time for the rest of the meeting. And Julian, you can go ahead and present. You can share your screen if you wish. I think.
Okay. Great. Thanks. Yeah, great to hear what everyone's working on. So for those that are new or want a refresher, I'm a professor at CSU Sacramento, also known as Sac State, and we have been working on a project to engage community-based monitoring with the kind of business needs of cities and their stormwater permitting in particular, which is how a lot of the trash kind of management and regulation is being addressed through the trash amendments, which have affected our stormwater permit throughout the state. So I'm trying to share screen. Let me do it again. I need to enable share screen.
Eamon, I think you're still sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Are
you able to now, Julie? Okay, great.
Let's see, how's that?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, like as a university, we're engaged with our communities, and we do a lot of community-based cleanups, and have done so for many years, as you know, is done all over the state in different ways. And we saw this kind of business need with among cities. Specifically, they're called the MS4s, or municipal separate stormwater system permittees, to use data for their permit, fulfilling their stormwater permit, and to also work with their constituents, their residents, which is an important part of that permit, also to do community engagement, outreach, education, etc. So we've developed this tool we call the Trash Rapid Assessment Data Exchange, to facilitate community groups to do cleanups and make those data useful for cities. So specifically, how that looks in kind of a data format, data flow format, is that we have a mobile app we've developed using ESRI Survey 123, and it counts not just the typical item counts, the material counts that a lot of the data collection systems use, but also this OVTA, the on-land visual trash assessment, which is this qualitative assessment that has a pretty robust methodology that's been developed over many years. And that's something that we feel that community-based community scientists or citizen scientists can be trained to do, and provide reliable, quality assured data for cities to use in the permitting environment. So that's really the kind of issue that we're trying to lean in on, is making community-based data or citizen science data usable and useful for cities in a regulatory context, which is a bit challenging and is not always a clean fit. We have a lot of skepticism among the regulatory community about using citizen science data, and we also have community groups that, you know, maybe just want to clean up trash, and maybe not want to have to spend extra time cleaning up, collecting data and formatting it in particular ways. So we're trying to help facilitate that and bring those two sometimes divergent sides together. So we have an ESRI database and a dashboard that I can show you. And then something that we're working on now in our current project, I mentioned last time that we just received a grant from EPA Region 9, the San Francisco Bay Water Quality Improvement Fund, to work with 4 cities in particular in the Bay. So that's going to be San Pablo, Richmond, Pinole, and Berkeley, to do this, to actually implement a community-based monitoring program that will be used as part of their stormwater permit, is that we implement a quality assurance project plan, or a QAP, that some of you might be familiar with in the regulatory community. And so that covers a lot of things: how we do training with volunteers and community-based groups, sampling design, how we validate data, and do you know, data, what is the word, where you account for data along the whole data stewardship. I'm missing the actual term, but you know, keeping track of it along the way.
Custody.
What is it? Custody. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, the data custody, which you all have given me some feedback on. And so this is kind of the really important quality assurance piece that we're working on now with cities to implement as part of this project, and to make this successful and a model, I hope, for other cities and communities to work together around the state in a regulatory way. Again, there's lots of existing engagement, and this is not to discount that in any way across California, but to make data actually useful and usable. So that's what we're working on now, as I said, with these 4 cities in the Bay Area. And I would love to get feedback along the way as we develop the QAP. People may have other experiences developing, maybe if it's not a QAP per se, then other sort of quality assurance approaches that might support the way that we're hoping to do community-based monitoring. And that's one thing that I would love, this kind of brain trust to give feedback on. And then, as I shared last time, and I hope you can see this now, in my browser is the actual online tool. So we're in a SRE based page now, and it's hosted at Sac State in our Office of Water Programs, which actually does a lot of work for Caltrans. I don't know if Dahlia, you might know them, but we have a couple of different dashboards. One that formats data according to ETAP, which is the EPA's kind of schema of data, trash data. Another formatted to the way that one of our key community partners, Keep California Beautiful, not to be confused with Keep America Beautiful, the way that they collect data and work with cities too. So just real quick, what the dashboard looks like is, and we have some kind of pilot data that's in here from mostly the Sacramento area, is a bunch of colored dots which represent the condition that OVTA, or that what we call the litter index in this context, but basically a scale of 1 through 4 that is accounts for the general site condition. And then you have item counts that were collected in these data. I'm showing you the city of Folsom right now, just as an example. One cool thing that we've layered in, since some of you have seen this, is actually a machine learning component. So we had a high school student in Folsom who was really active, and all these data were collected by a high school club. And she's really interested in machine learning, about to go into college. And she developed she did a whole machine learning project to predict the litter index, or the OVTA, based on the item counts of different trash types. So you can see the way that we collect the data. This little smiley face here represents, actually it's a sad face, because this was rated as a level 3 litter assessment, litter index. So that would be a fairly polluted or littered location. And then at the bottom, the machine learning algorithm predicted that this would also be a 3. So we found a really high level of prediction. We actually just published a paper, which I can share with folks. It's this one where we're kind of looking at machine learning and this example as a way to really support citizen science and support community-based efforts, right? Because we're seeing it as this particular application of machine learning as a complement to the on-the-ground visual assessments that folks are doing, to kind of validate and lend more support to the way that non-experts, collect data and present them. So I can put this in the chat if anyone's interested, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that. But when?
I was just saying, please, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in there. Yeah, so this just came out last month. And then this is this site, which you have to be credentialed actually to see, but this is how different groups can upload data. So let's say, for example, a Friends of the Creeks group in any city around California, collects data, and they want to contribute that to our data exchange for their city to use. We have several different upload options. One, I'm excited, Wynn, to hear about the way you're thinking about 2.0 on the data the trash taxonomy, because what we have is kind of this way that you can upload a Excel spreadsheet, and then manually create a crosswalk that crosswalks all the schema of the whatever data the format is in now, whatever schema the data is in now, into the schema of our dashboard so that it can be presented. And you can also download, we provided an ETAP spreadsheet that is kind of according to the format that we use already. So there's a few different ways to upload data, and we're going to be so you can contribute data live through the app, the Survey 123 app, as I was saying, or you can upload data after the fact through any of these 3 ways. So it's a bit clunky. We only got so far on the first grant that we had to fund this, and we're hoping to continue refining it, in the field as we work with these 4 cities in the San Francisco Bay, and potentially others that you all might know that would be interested in doing this kind of work and connecting community groups, community-based monitoring efforts with the municipal needs of the cities. And so we're excited to work with not just the 4 cities in the San Francisco Bay, but some really key community groups, one of which is called Earth Team. And Wynn, you might know them from your Pinole project, the AGU project. But they've been collecting trash data for almost a decade in the East Bay. This is kind of this is their website, zerolitter.org, and it's maybe a little bit not updated, but the data, you can see, for example, this little enclave here is the city of San Pablo. What they have here in all these areas is what they call the trash management areas and their baseline conditions. And then the way they work is they have internships in local high schools. So for example, Richmond High is actually just right down here. And they train students, high school students, to go out and do litter collection, litter counts. And what we're doing in this project is layering on this additional training with the qualitative OVTA assessment to have those same high school students working also with other community-based organizations like Friends of Pinole Creek Watershed and others in the area to and their volunteers to do the OVTA data assessment and to work with those cities to have data translate into their permitting requirements. So that's what we're just getting off the ground in the Bay Area, and I'd love feedback and ideas, in particular on the quality assurance components, but also how we can think about data in general and making it useful in this context. So, thanks.
Thank you so much, Julian. I have about 12 questions, but we don't have time for that. Maybe we'll save it for that coffee. But I think for the purpose of this meeting, do you anticipate any outputs from the engagement with these 4 cities that will be recording kind of lessons learned about meshing the community-based science with regulatory context, and what lessons learned and what types of things you might adjust in the future to be better aligned? Because I think that what we would hope is that the combination of your QAP and these lessons could then feed into more of a continuous, beyond a grant sort of thing, but a continuous process.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm an academic, so I'm all about just talking about this stuff as much as possible. But yeah, I definitely that's a really important outcome, and something we've committed to, in our grant is documenting this and reporting out to forums like the BAMPS, the Bay Area Stormwater Management Coalition, and possibly academic conferences, maybe a journal article. But I would be interested in ideas for how to kind of structure a study around what the benefits are, like what research questions that we could track along the way, and data about the project that might support those research questions. So if anybody wants to brainstorm on research questions, that would be cool.
Yeah, maybe the next steps would be, if you're open to it, Julian, is to solicit any participation from this group on those things that you need help on, whether it's the QAP review or this kind of like process documentation, and see if people would like to join you for a quick meeting, whatever time they have. I would like to be part of that, and I think others might as well. So maybe if you all would like to join such a meetup, just it doesn't need to be very formal, but we can get together. I can buy the coffee, and if you're local. So Julian and I discovered that we live like crawling distance from each other. We're right nearby, and Julian is within walking range from SFEI almost. So we're hyper local right around those cities that he named. But we could have a Zoom meeting as well and just invite that sort of input on those things. So I would love to be part of that, and maybe some of you do as well. So please, I can coordinate that. So if you'd like to write to me, I can set up that meeting. So you don't have to commit now, but if you'd like to join such a thing, either in person or online, just let us know.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. I like that idea, kind of an advisory group for not just the project, but how to promote this idea more broadly.
Yeah, that's great. This particular project, I think, says a lot to address a gap. It's often the case that cities and stormwater programs will say, we don't have the resources to do that sort of thing, when asked, how are things going in the environment? So Gary's group, Second Nature, addresses it by providing tools that scale very well and can work with limited capacity. But then you're addressing it in a different way, Julian, by empowering other community members to contribute and do those on the ground sorts of surveys. I think both are really valuable, and it'd be great to figure out where the balance lies.
For sure. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, picking up trash is a pretty low barrier activity for communities. So I think there's a lot of opportunity at that nexus.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining us. And as we said at the beginning of this meeting, we welcome you to extend the invitation to others, your peers, your colleagues, as you're in meetings and projects that have a trash component. You can let them know that this group exists. We have some really great expertise on the line, people doing some really amazing things. Walter, Dahlia and Yinling's colleague, has done some amazing things together with Win on the trash identification. There's a lot of really great stuff going on. So let's not keep this to ourselves. Let's not keep this a secret, but rather let's keep this community vibrant and expanding. So feel free just to go ahead and extend the invitation right from your calendar to people. You don't have to check with us. You can just kind of invite them into the fold, as long as they are good community members and are for the cause. All right, well, thank you. And we will see you next quarter. But if in the meantime you would like to contribute to Julian's project, please just go ahead and hit me up, and I can coordinate that check-in.
Right on.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.